Hello, good morning and welcome to News Desk. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, across all our social media handles. We're Joe News on TV. Coming up within the next 60 minutes, Electoral Commission to review and respond to the opposition National Democratic Congress petition for an audit of the voters' register, even as it says the process to produce a final register is in its early stages. We've got an analysis on this, as well as we will ask what's next for the NDC. Also on illegal mining, a group is asking government to make crimes against the ecosystem punishable as murder. We'll hear from them and also tell you how a meeting between organized labor and government's ad hoc committee ends in stalemate. My name is Faustina Safo. Take a seat and be my guest. Thanks for choosing us. We're your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Now, we start with the opposition National Democratic Congress because they have given the Electoral Commission a week's ultimatum to respond to its demands for a forensic audit of the 2024 voters register, or else the party will stage a series of demonstrations until election day, December 7th. Well, the request comes after the party's maiden demonstration yesterday. Maxwell Agwagwa has a wrap.
The nationwide protests saw peaceful demonstrations across most regions, but in the Ashanti region, tensions flared. 3 protesters were arrested but later granted bail. Police says the demonstrators did not follow pre-arranged plans and attempted to force their way into the premises of the Electoral Commission, pelting officers with stones. One officer was injured and is currently receiving medical care. Yes, Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NDC, Andrews Nanakwesi.
Chairman, what are they doing to you?
Sir, please, the person has given me a dirty blow.
He has given you a dirty blow?
A dirty blow. And we know him.
Why did he give you the dirty blow?
I'm trying to enter into the premises and he gave me a dirty blow. What are you doing? What are you doing to me? Is it fair? What are you doing? Clear the road before I go in there. Nobody will push me. Clear the road before I go.
In the Greater Accra region, the protests were peaceful with no reports of violence. Protesters led by NDC Chairman Johnson Isiedu Nketia marched to Parliament where they submitted their petition.
People from all walks of lives and all ages are taking part in this protest. The minority leader, Kassiel Atufo, says Ghanaians should expect a recall of Parliament to deliberate on the matter of the voters' roll.
Unfortunately, this petition is coming at a time that Parliament is on recess. But I strongly believe that if there is anything that will warrant an emergency recall of Parliament, this is certainly one of them. So the NDC minority will immediately convene a caucus meeting and consider the need to recall Parliament to address this issue.
The majority leader, Alexander Fenyomakin, responded by assuring that Parliament would review the issues raised. He also urged all stakeholders to engage in dialogue.
I agree with the minority leader that as a House, we may have to look at the issues presented. And I encourage all stakeholders to also avail themselves. I standing here is on record of having taken EC to the Supreme Court to stop a whole these assembly elections for some irregularities and illegalities. And I made my case at the Supreme Court. That's a matter of record. And I believe that if there are genuine concerns, we can all raise it and discuss them on the table by following lawful means.
It is a long walk to the offices of the Electoral Commission, and these market women are urging the protesters on. Perhaps it's giving them some energy to continue with a long walk, which they say will lead to freedom.
the offices of the Electoral Commission, Deputy Commissioner in charge of operations Samuel Tete received the petition. The NDC demands presented by Johnson Esiedun Ketia included a call for a forensic audit of the voters' register.
Permit an independent forensic audit of the voters' register and the Commission's IT systems, which we suspect have been seriously compromised. Number two, we demand that the Commission convene stakeholders for collaboration. The Electoral Commission should urgently convene a meeting with all political parties, civil society organizations, and key international stakeholders, including ECOWAS, Africa Union, UNDP, European Union, and USAID. We demand that the Electoral Commission will agree to publish the findings of any such forensic audit.
Let me welcome you to the corporate head office of the Commission. On behalf of the Commission, I will receive your petition, and I will assure you that your petition will be presented to the Commission for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. For the avoidance of doubt,
your name.
We have presented 16 other copies of this petition to your regional directors across the country. If we don't see action, the next time we are going to present 276 copies at each of the district offices of the Commission. Don't worry, don't worry.
Thank you very much, and let me welcome you to the corporate head office of the Commission. On behalf of the Commission, I will receive your petition, and I will assure you that your petition will be presented to the Commission for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the NDC expects the Electoral Commission to respond to its demands within a week. That's the timeline they are giving the EC. Now, failure to do this, they said, would be met with more protests. Well, the Electoral Commission has been responding to the NDC. Yesterday, they released a statement, and it's coming up on your screens, just excerpts. The Electoral Commission has received the petition submitted by the National Democratic Congress at the end of their demonstration on Tuesday, 17th of September 2024. The Commission will review the petition and provide its response in the coming days. And that response is what we would be expecting, because the NDC has served notice that the EC should expect more protests. The statement goes on to say the Commission wishes to assure the general public that the process of producing the final register is in its early stages. And so they admit that it's time to add on to it. They say it's at its initial stages. So some of the concerns by all the political parties, I'm sure the EC would respond to them shortly. The Commission is also mindful that the voters' register is the bedrock of credibility, fair and transparent elections. We assure the NDC and all stakeholders of our avowed commitment to delivering a credible and robust final register ahead of the December 2024 election. That's a statement from the EC after they received a petition from the NDC. Meanwhile, it says, in the meantime, our doors remain open. We look forward to engaging the NDC on their concerns. And that's how the statement ends. They're looking forward to more engagement. They say they'll be putting out their request shortly. So let's broaden the conversation here on Newsdesk, and let's speak to the security issues that came up yesterday, especially in the Ashanti region, where 3 people were arrested, then released. Bright Odro, he's a former CID boss, and he joins us live here on Newsdesk. COP, welcome to Newsdesk. I'm thankful for your time. Now, let's just look at the fallouts from the NDC demonstration yesterday across the country. Enough is enough. That's how they term it. And we recorded pockets of violence, especially in the Ashanti region. In the eastern region, the police had a hard time controlling the crowd. Let's look at the fall-off. What's your initial assessment?
Well, thank you, and regards to all the listeners. I wasn't particularly following the demonstration, but I've heard from some the TVs and some radio stations about how the demonstration went. And I think we had issues in the Ashanti region where the police had to. The police didn't fire, but some of the demonstrators that I heard, some of the organizers also said that the police fired bullets and so on. So what actually happened, I don't get it, because if the police had operational order that should have guided the way to conduct the demonstration, maybe they wouldn't have had this opportunity to have fire, even though they have counted that it is not fire. And so it's only in the Ashanti region that we've had issues. We haven't had issues in Accra. We haven't had issues in the other region. And you just mentioned that there were some issues also in the region. Normally, like I said, when big demonstrations of this kind are to take place, the police are guided by the way, are guided by what I said, what I call the operation order. They prepare an operation order that will guide their performance, that will guide the role that they will play. I don't know whether they did it in the Ashanti region.
COP retired, you may have to speak a bit louder for us. We're struggling to hear you. And you say that the police is guided, and that's a concern many have raised after the protests yesterday. The NDC has served notice that we should expect more protests should the EC fail to heed their demands. And so let's look at the security setup. Is it enough?
Well, as I said, if we are to expect more demonstrations, then the police must also be prepared to police the demonstrations. Normally, we don't expect police officers who are police demonstrations to be bearing fire, don't bear fire. But this under them so that they will be able to prepare and be able to police the demonstration. If there's war, then we should take more for the who deploy.
COP, I'm struggling to hear you. I'm sure we'll work the lines and try and get his thoughts on security moving forward. The NDC has served notice that should the EC fail to heed their key demand of accepting their request for an independent forensic audit of the voters register, we should expect more protests across the country. Yesterday they had one, the first of its kind. They term it enough is enough. It happened across the country. Pockets of violence in the Ashanti region, where the Ashanti chairman for the NDC said the police gave him a dirty blow. Let's try one more time. COP retired, Bright Odro. I'm hoping I have better connection to you now. Thankfully, you have repositioned yourself. So just looking at moving forward, security is of concern, especially when it comes to maintaining the crowd. In the case of the Ashanti region, they were not supposed to go beyond the gates of the EC. And that was why there was a back and forth between the protesters and the police. So moving forward, what would you recommend the NDC approach would be when it comes to this protest, which they are promising we should see more of?
I think that before the demonstration, the police and the organizers had discussed the route, discussed whatever arrangement that had been put in place to enable the demonstration to take place successfully. So if there were issues in a sense, I don't understand why. But I guess the first part going electoral commission premises or the electoral commission, I think we were asked to stay about 1 kilometer from the offices, and they said that wasn't the arrangement, and I think that was the reason for that.
Thank you, COP retired Bright Odro. He is the former CID boss, just giving his thoughts on what we should do moving forward, especially when it comes to security and the NDC protest. Now, just on your screens, you could see massive following for the NDC yesterday. They marched through principal streets of the Greater Accra region, and we would be discussing this further because Adam will be in the studio. As we look at this, he's former youth national organizer and deputy national youth organizer, Adam Agbana. He's also parliamentary candidate for K2 North, and he'll be joining us shortly. But that's what we saw yesterday. Those are visuals from Circle, where lots of people stormed the streets to join the protest. Enough is enough protest by the NDC. And they say we should expect more of this. Adam is in the studio. Adam, were you on the rounds yesterday?
Yes, I was at the Volta Regional Capital Hall where I participated in the Enough is Enough demonstration in the Volta region. It was very well patronized, and we sent our message loud and clear to the Electoral Commission and all stakeholders in the country that we want a credible register, a clean register, a register that allows for Ghanaians who are eligible to vote in a manner that suits their interest. And so our message is simple and clear, that the current register that we have is not credible and cannot be used for the 2024 general elections. We are calling for a forensic audit of the register. And surprisingly, the Electoral Commission is running away from the audit. And we are asking, if you know that you have the interest of the country at heart, if you are interested in organizing credible, free, fair, and transparent elections, why are you running away from accountability? Why are you running away from a forensic audit by an independent body? And so our demonstration clearly sent waves, clearly sent a message to the Electoral Commission, to the government of the day and all stakeholders that Ghanaians want a credible, Ghanaians want clean, Ghanaians want a transparent register for the 2024 general elections.
You are a former deputy national youth organizer. Let's look at the massive turnout of the youth yesterday and the difficulty the police had, especially in the Ashanti region, in controlling the crowd. You have served notice to us that we should expect more protests. How would you ensure that such things do not occur in the next protest?
Well, let me say that yesterday's protest can go into history as the biggest nationwide demonstration ever organized. Initially, people assumed that because we had decentralized the demonstration into all 16 regions, we're not going to see the numbers. But every single region recorded very, very high patronage. What happened in the Ashanti region was that at the tail end of the demonstration, we got a few police officers who decided to be agents for the government, who decided not to tolerate or control properly the crowd. And then we got that incident. But across the country, all other regions, everything ended peacefully. We are peaceful people. We are peace lovers. All we are demanding is a clean, credible register. And so going forward, we made some demands in our petition to the Electoral Commission. If these demands are not met, leadership will get back to the general public, will get back to the party and ask us to proceed with other actions, including more protests. But I can tell you that as a former deputy national youth organizer of the NDC and now a parliamentary candidate, I can tell you on authority that the NDC has unwavering resolve to ensure we get the register audited properly before we go into the elections. Nobody can stop us from pressing more for a credible register. Nobody will stop us from going ahead to put pressure on the Electoral Commission until they get the register audited. And we will employ any legal means available to us to have our demands met. And going into the protest, like we did in all the regions, we are peaceful people. We are not interested in fighting with the police. It may surprise you that even the police, many of them support our call for a credible register because they are suffering as well. Today, when they go to the filling station, they buy the fuel the same price that we, the politicians and the other Ghanaians, we also buy. When they go to the market, they are also feeling the hardship that this government has plunged us into. The police themselves, many of them have suffered from the incompetent, the inept administration of Bawumia Akufo-Addo, such that many of them lost their savings through the cruelty of haircuts. And so
the police is on your side, but yesterday they had quite a hard time in the Ashanti region controlling the crowd. So we're looking at
I'm telling you that
more protests. What kind of sensitization would be made to the base of the party to ensure it doesn't turn violent?
The problem in Ashanti region was not the NDC problem. It was a problem of a few police officers who decided to be unprofessional. In other regions where the police officers exhibited professionalism, you saw that everything ended peacefully. So it is not an NDC problem at all. So the question should rather be, how do we weed out such partisan police officers who are so unprofessional that simple crowd control mechanisms, they cannot put it in place? What happened in the Ashanti region, I can say, is the fact that the police were overwhelmed with the numbers. And so a few unprofessional, partisan, or NPP-aligned police officers decided to get into the crowd and cause mayhem. But I'm sure...
But you say you were at Ketu when this happened.
No, but we received...
So if you received information from the base of the party, I'm quite concerned about... Because the police in their statement condemned the act, and they clarified that they had a hard time controlling the crowd because there were designated points where the crowd was not supposed to go beyond. And that's why the EC gates were shattered yesterday. So I'm concerned. If you're promising more protests, it is legal to hit the street to demonstrate. There's no doubt about it. But we want to look at crowd control and ensuring that this protests do not turn violent. What kind of sensitization is being made to the base of the party? So
the kind of sensitization you are asking for is what reflected across the country yesterday. So 16 regions. The NDC protesters comported themselves. They were very disciplined. Nobody took the law into their own hands. What happened in Ashanti region was an isolated case that we have to investigate. Okay. Our investigation and the information we have received from the leadership of the party is that it was a few police officers who decided to be unprofessional, and that is what led to the chaos. And so, like I'm saying, we cannot put the blame at the doorstep of the NDC. We went into the demonstration with only one resolve, to get a forensic audit of our register. And that is why across the country, you did not see any of us protesters misbehave or cross lines that we were not supposed to cross. There are issues of crowd control. And I have said on many occasions that the Ghana Police Service, when they are sending their men for exercises like demonstrations or exercises like walks and what have you, campaign rallies, they ought to be properly taught how to control the crowd. So let us put the blame squarely at the doorstep of the Ghana Police Service. Instead of the police investigating the incidents and waiting to give us an accurate report of what happened, they quickly just sent a notice or a statement out blaming the demonstrators without necessarily going into to find out what had happened. But for us, we will not allow that dark spot blight the excellent exercise that went on in the 16 regions. And indeed, if there is ever a time in the history of the Fourth Republic where Ghanaians are more interested in a free, fair, transparent, and credible elections, that time is now. We saw that yesterday. It's not just the NDC demanding. Chiefs are calling for a credible register. CSOs are calling for a credible register. Young people, yesterday, something happened in the Western region. A 96-year-old woman, oh my God, joined the demonstration because she wanted to fight for posterity, fight for her children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. And so the demonstration is not just the NDC members backing their party leadership to demonstrate. It's Ghanaians who believe that President Akufo-Addo Bawumia government has failed and they need a credible register. They need free, fair, transparent elections to kick them out. We will not allow the Electoral Commission to work or connive with the NPP to rig the elections. What are the issues that we have raised? There are issues of illegal transfers in the register. And the EC itself admitted that there were errors of illegal transfers. They call those things errors. And we believe that they cannot just be deliberate, they cannot be errors. This is a significant mistake that can impact the election so greatly that all we want the Electoral Commission to do is that avail yourself to be audited. Let me ask you, in this studio, the two of us are seated here. If your phone or your device gets missing and your producers accuse me as the host of taking it, the only way to prove a point is to allow myself to be searched, because certainly it is not a device that after picking it, I will be able to say swallow or get it vanished with. So I will allow myself to be searched. So in case I refuse to be searched, it raises suspicions that indeed I have taken the machine or have stolen it. That is why I am refusing accountability. Now in this case, if the Electoral Commission is credible, the Electoral Commission believes that the register that they are preparing, they have not done anything illegally to affect the NDC, why are they refusing independent forensic audit of the register? It is as simple as that, and that is what we are asking for. Again, you have the Electoral Commissioners on record to have admitted that a number of things or anomalies have occurred. Why are they not interested in taking steps to correct it through a forensic audit? Number three, when we raise the issues that some BVR machines got missing, this same Electoral Commission came out and denied that no machines got missing. Months or weeks later, they came to admit that some items got missing from their office, but those items were only laptops. But those laptops were programmed to be used for registration, and so they equally qualified to be called biometric verification devices, BVDs. Now, after the machines were reported missing, weeks or months later, somebody was caught with the machine, arrested. As we speak, we don't even know how far the case has come. Now, if that Electoral Commission that denied earlier, even when they had CCTV footage backing them, that the NDC did not have a case when we raised allegations of 5 machines getting missing, but months later have admitted and even people being arrested for it. That same Electoral Commission comes back to tell you that we have done corrections on the register and that all the anomalies that you identified as a party, we are going in to address them privately. And the Electoral Commission
open.
Great. So if the Electoral Commission,
the NDC.
Now the question is whether you trust the Electoral Commission.
Do you trust the Electoral?
We don't trust the Electoral Commission.
Okay.
By their utterances and their conducts, the Electoral Commission has given us several reasons not to trust them. Even their resistance to the idea of forensic audit alone.
So let me create a scenario in your mind.
Not for us to trust them.
Let's assume
Yes.
that you're in a relationship.
Great.
And allegations has been made that your spouse is cheating. Then you say, bring evidence to show that indeed my spouse is cheating. And whoever made the allegation is failing to bring the evidence. So then the question now is, why is the NDC failing to provide the EC with the data it needs of allegations of anomalies so that it can fix the problem?
Your example will not be relatable to this case because in this case, the Electoral Commission in their own press conference admitted that indeed there are issues with the register.
They also admitted that,
which means that
after the meeting with the NDC, they admitted
and
that
so it's like admitting that indeed. So it's like they admitted that my partner is cheating. I admitted that my partner is cheating. Then later turned out to say, but bring the evidence. At the time you admitted, what evidence, on what grounds, what principles, what was the foundation on which you agreed or you admitted that indeed your partner was cheating? Now, they are asking us to bring our data. We have given them sufficient data For example, we mentioned that 3,957 wrong transfers were made. Is that true or not? It is true. They admitted. We also gave them the data that 15,000 people transferred their votes. The names appeared on the registration, on the transfer list, and yet where their votes have been transferred to, we cannot ascertain. Is that true or not? We also said that 253,000 people who registered and transferred their votes in 2020 got their names again on the 2024 transfer list, which must not be the case. Is that true or not? So when they are asking us to bring our evidence, I simply don't even understand what they are asking. We have been very charitable with them. The NDC does not want to appear as though we are remote controlling the Electoral Commission. We have identified a challenge and we are asking that go into the market, bring your own third party, an independent body. It is not as if we are even forcing them that let Joy News or let multimedia be the institution to audit you. We are asking you to go and have your data audited by any independent organization that you yourself will go and choose. Now, we are not choosing that for you. So why are they even afraid of the forensic audit? Again, the
on your screens, we're coming back to
so these are some of the issues.
Some of the issues that the NDC has identified with the voters register. They say over 200,000 unauthorized voters transferred, 50,000 plus unidentifiable voter transfer paths, potential issues with fake registration. They say over 3,000 voters in the 2023 register deleted from the 2024 provisional register due to transfers. They also go on to say over 2,000 voters transferred to different polling stations but not listed in the absent list. And that I was just finalizing on that last page before we moved on. Maybe we can just go back to that and then we'll move on. But not listed in the absent voter list as required by law. So those are some of the key demands the NDC have been making. And Adam has just been explaining that the EC released a statement yesterday. They said that they would be responding to the NDC in coming days, and we'll be looking forward to that. They also say the EC delayed transparency, admissions by the EC of manipulation. That's something you just raised about the concerns. The EC had already admitted there were flaws in their system, so that's the reason why the NDC is not providing evidence.
Let me just talk to you about how significant this data is to the election. The significance. So somebody will ask, the whole country, if 3,000 people, let's say only 3,000 people got their names missing or deleted from the register, can that have an impact on the election? Yes. As we speak today, there are 56 constituencies across the country where the NDC or the NPP won or lost with less than 5,000 votes. So in order to get majority in parliament, every single vote is important. Are you aware that there are many constituencies where those who are in parliament today won with a margin of either 63, 54, or even less than 100 across board? And so to have 3,000 people's names deleted from the register, almost 4,000, without their knowledge is enough reason to even call for a forensic audit. Now, there is something very interesting about all of these things.
Okay, we have to wrap the conversation.
When you come to Hohoe, for example.
Before we go into that, we have to wrap the conversation. Yes. And we'll be taking you soon to the Ministry of Information because the Health Ministry, they're holding a press conference, their monthly annual review of some of the key things they've done. We'll take you there shortly. But let me wrap up with Adam. You are a parliamentary candidate for Ketu North. What are some of the key things we should expect? Well, for us in Ketu North, we are seriously campaigning to give President Mahama and the NDC 95% victory in the elections. For us, it's not just about winning, but it's about winning with a very good margin, which is a 95% target that we've set for ourselves. We are working so hard at it, and that is why we don't want to give the Electoral Commission any opportunity to take even a single vote out of the votes that we know we will be getting on December 7th.
as a young person going into parliament, as a young legislator, I am very confident that I will be a champion of many pro-youth policies. And these are issues that some of us have been discussing for a while now. As a deputy national youth organizer, I was the party's spokesperson on youth affairs. Currently, I'm the party's spokesperson on sports. And so many pro-youth policies expect that from 2025, some of us will become a relentless voice in advocating for young people of this country to be empowered so they can achieve their dreams here and not necessarily travel abroad before they can make it in life. And so when we have time, we can go into that.
We'll get into that.